Now that you are in a deep trance, we are going to make a change to you, or reinforce that change if it has already been made. The change is that if you have transformed into an anthro Eevee, the effects that are about to be described will happen if you say the activation phrase "Activate Eeveelutions." Additionally, this change will instantly become inactive if you are no longer an anthro Eevee, or if you say the deactivation phrase "Deactivate Eeveelutions." Now the change will be described. When you are near the things that will be listed soon, you will evolve into an anthro version of the relevant Eevee. However, this will take a random amount of time between 1 and 4 hours to trigger, and the timer will reset if you go away from what would cause you to evolve. Also, if you want to return to being a normal anthro Eevee, all you have to do is will it to happen and you will devolve, the evolution you had undergone happening in reverse. If you are close to fire, or a very hot heat source, you will evolve into an anthro Flareon. Your fur will turn from brown to orange, as a large tuft of vanilla fur grows on your head and your tail grows bigger, all of the fur on it turning vanilla. You'll feel all of this as well as any other appropriate changes as you evolve into an anthro Flareon. As all of this happens, your mind will change, making you enjoy being around heat and warmth, as well as making you strongly dislike being cold. If you are in the water or rain, you will evolve into an anthro Vaporeon. You'll feel your fur give way to smooth blue skin, the short, navy blue webbed spines forming on your back as the long white webbed ones form around your neck. Likewise, you will also feel your tail becoming long, as well as feel how it splits into 2 fins at the end of it. After your tail finishes changing, your ears become like long, pale yellow fins, everything being finished with the tall pale yellow fin that grows on the top of your head. You'll feel all of this as well as any other appropriate changes as you evolve into an anthro Vaporeon. As this happens, your mind will change, making you like being wet and in the water, while disliking being so dry that your skin doesn't feel smooth. If you are in direct sunlight, you will evolve into an anthro Espeon. When this happens, your mane will disappear and your fur will turn purple, except for the fur on the inside of your ears, which will turn dark teal. Then, your tail will become narrow like the tail of a cat, your purple fur growing on it. 3/4 of the way down the tail it splits into 2 identical tails. While your tail reshapes itself, a small red ruby will form in the middle of your forehead, and a large tuft of fur will grow out on each of your cheeks. You'll feel all of this as well as any other appropriate changes as you evolve into an anthro Espeon. When this happens, your mind will change so that you will enjoy being in light places and sunlight, as well as have a small desire to avoid dark places and moonlight. If you are in direct moonlight, you will evolve into an anthro Umbreon. The first thing that will happen will be your fur turning black and your mane going away, followed by the circles of yellow fur forming on your upper arms and legs, as well as on your forehead. Your ears and tail will take on the shape of long, pointed ovals, a yellow band of fur halfway up each of them. You'll feel all of this as well as any other appropriate changes as you evolve into an anthro Umbreon. As this is happening, your mind will change so that you like being in dark places and moonlight, as well as have a small desire to avoid bright places and sunlight. If you are around electric equipment or high voltage devices, you will evolve into an anthro Jolteon. When this happens, your tail will disappear, and your brown fur will turn yellow while your vanilla fur turns white. Then, the fur on your ears and the top of your head will become slightly spiky. The fur on your mane and the bottom third of your torso will also become long and spiky, with the fur on your mane pointing out around your neck, while the fur on the lower third of your torso points mostly down and slightly out. You'll feel all of this as well as any other appropriate changes as you evolve into an anthro Jolteon. Once all of this has happened, you'll find that you enjoy using electronic devices like computers and phones, and have a tendency to avoid doing physical work when possible. If you are around wild plants, you will evolve into an anthro Leafeon. Most of your fur will turn vanilla colored, but the fur on your hands and feet and lower arms and legs will stay brown. Then, small leaves will grow on your body, the start of each leaf forming from your fur. While most of the leaves are green, the parts that are still fur will stay vanilla colored. As this happens, your tail will become a large leaf, as will your ears, the insides of them turning brown. Additionally, a large leaf will form on the top of your head. You'll feel all of this as well as any other appropriate changes as you evolve into an anthro Leafeon. Once these changes have finished, your mind will change so that you enjoy being outside and around plants, and prefer not to use electronic devices like phones and computers, as well as make it so that you prefer to not be inside. If you are near ice, snow, or a source of extreme cold, you will evolve into an anthro Glaceon. Most of your fur will become minty blue, but the fur on the back of your neck will become a dark shade of teal in the shape of a diamond that is the size of and centered on the back of your neck, and similarly there will be a dark teal section of fur in the shape of a diamond that is the size of your back and centered on it. Also, the fur on the inside of your ears will also become dark teal, as well as on your lower arms and legs and your hands and feet. Once your fur has changed, your tail will become flat, the end of it coming to a point like a triangle. The end of your tail will turn dark teal in a diamond shape, the triangle that will make up the end of your tail being the bottom half of it. Then, 3 diamond-shaped sections of fur will grow on your forehead. They are all half as wide as your forehead is, with the 2 outer ones curving outwards. They are light blue, and the start of them is the top of the middle of your forehead, and the bottom of them is the bottom of the middle of your forehead. After that, 2 extensions form, one from the left side of the bottom of your forehead and the other from the right side of it. They are just like your tail, except the minty parts are light blue, you can't control them, and they are half as big as your tail is. You'll feel all of this as well as any other appropriate changes as you evolve into an anthro Glaceon. As this happens, your mind is changed so that you enjoy being in cool places and around cold things, as well as ice and snow. It will also change so that you dislike being in warm places and near hot things. That being said, you'll still be careful to not get dangerously cold. If you are very close to someone you love romantically, you will evolve into an anthro Sylveon. Most of your fur will turn white, but the fur on the inside of your ears will turn dull purple, and the fur on your lower arms and legs, as well as your hands and feet, will turn pink. It will also turn pink on your tail and the top of your head. Then, your tail will become much thinner, and bows with 2 ribbons connected to each of them will form on you, the ribbons splitting at the end. The inner half of the bows are white, while the outer halves are pink. As for the ribbons, they are mostly white, but at the end of them they have a pink stripe, then a light purple stripe, and the end of them is occupied by a baby blue stripe. You will be able to control your ribbons just like you can control your tail. You'll feel all of this as well as any other appropriate changes as you evolve into an anthro Sylveon. Once all of this is done, your mind will change so that you enjoy being around people you love more and are much more affectionate to them. However, it will also make it so that you dislike being alone and easily get lonely. Finally, the effects of this hypnosis file will become inactive if they are a risk to your physical body or your well-being, if they are a risk to your social or professional life, if there is an emergency that they would prevent you from dealing with to the best of your abilities, or if they are a risk to your mental health. Also, any effect of this hypnosis file that was an issue will become active again once it no longer will be one. Additionally, you will never find this hypnosis file or the effects of it to be even slightly addicting. Now you have the ability to become any eeveelution, all you need is enough time and the right place. This session is almost over, so goodbye, my form-changing friend.